Welcome to another episode of Galaxy Marine's True Bass. Today we're on Folsom Lake with Gary Dobyns and Kent Brown.
Hey, good morning. I'm Kent Brown, host of the Ultimate Bass Radio Show on Sports 1140 KHTK, and we're out here on Folsom once again. And joining us today, and we're lucky to have him, and you're going to hear the story, the West all-time leading money winner, this guy.
Good morning. I'm happy to be out here at Folsom this morning.
You're happy to be anywhere.
I'm happy to be anywhere right now. I had a nice little boating accident here a few weeks back, and first day I've been out fishing since then, and I haven't been to Folsom in about 5 years, and pretty low, but I know we can catch some.
Water's low. We're going to throw some jerk baits, maybe throw some swim baits around.
I got a Stacy 90 tied on. I'm ready to go.
All right, well, I got a swim bait tied on. Let's get this thing in the water, get our life jackets on, and go fishing.
And it's early April, and I mean early April, that's probably the absolute best time of year to catch fish.
It is, and we're, Folsom's getting better, I think, every day. We've got some sunshine, we've got some warm water, we've got some fish starting to move up, so hopefully we can catch them on a Stacy 90. Maybe we'll get a giant one on a Huddleston today.
They always bite Stacy 90s.
You know, I've still got that 806 Dobyn swim bait rod I stole out of your truck. I think I'm going to try to get it bent. Let's go. You know, Gary, it's finally an opportunity for a lot of anglers to see you firsthand with a rip bait in your hand. I mean, it's a bait you've won a lot of boats on, a lot of tournaments on, and they've seen a lot of your seminars. This is a great opportunity for them to get in a boat with you and kind of get to see you do the technique that basically made you famous.
I tell you, I've just been my favorite technique forever, Ken. I mean, it's just such a die-hard method. I mean, I just like always catches them.
What bait do you have tied on?
No, the old standby favorite, the Stacy 90 and Ghost Minnow.
You fishing on fluorocarbon?
You know, I usually don't. I usually throw it on mono.
A lot of guys are talking about throwing the rip baits and stuff on fluorocarbon to get them a little bit deeper.
And you know, fluorocarbon's a sinking line, so I mean that does help. But it's also there's not very much stretch in the fluorocarbon. So if you're going to throw fluorocarbon, I think you probably ought to lighten your rod model up. You know, one power rating.
Right.
Well, the cool thing about Folsom is, I mean, it's got a great population of all three, black spots and smallies, and there's not very many places that can really, you know, where they do that well. The only other place that I know that they do that well, all three species, is Berryessa.
Yeah. Berryessa's got some giant largemouth and still kind of a trophy smallmouth lake too.
My two favorites, you can see, I mean, it's got a lot of battle scars. I mean, that bait's pretty much worn out. I've caught a lot of fish on it. And this is a Ghost Minnow, and this is a Chartreuse Shad. I mean, and these two baits right here, I mean, they're just hard to beat. And if you'll notice, on each one of them, I've got a couple of suspend dots right underneath their throats. It means I've been fishing that bait a lot. It helps tip that bait down. I get a little bit more depth out of it.
Galaxy Marine's True Bass will be right back.
Well, the main thing that makes a spot like this so special is, you know, it's a big flat. You can see we got a lot of sand and stuff, but you see these individual boulders, and there's a lot more of them underneath the water. You can see like right out in here, and so I mean they just attract the fish. Fish, they come swimming down that sand bank, and then all of a sudden they've got some structure, and they'll set right up on it for an ambush point. And therefore we know right where to look for them too, though. I like fishing places that's got, like, you know, I call it know-nothing banks like that, and then all of a sudden you've got some type of structure, you know, whether it be a lay-down log, a rock, or what it is. It's a gold mine.
I see a little black spot out here on the back side of these rocks. A little dark, a little deeper water out here. You know there's got to be a big one out here somewhere. Most guys that are successful with a swim bait have gotten past the frustration level, and they've got enough big bites on it to have some confidence in the bait. But it's a hard bait. It's not a matter of knowing when to throw it. I think it's a matter of knowing when not to throw it. But it's addicting. You know, you get a couple of 8 to 10 pound fish bite this bait, and God, for me, it's all I want to do. And it's flat hurt some of these guys' tournament careers, because they just, you know, they show up with the elephant gun on every tournament, and sometimes that it just doesn't work.
I just can't believe the difference in. There we go.
Good one. That's a pretty good one. Come off the rocks.
He ain't a very good one. He ain't even pulling. Come on, fish, pull. You ain't very big. Now he's pulling. That one with him?
That's what I was kind of looking at. I wasn't sure.
Little black. Come up here, buddy. He could fall off. All right, perfect. Perfect.
That was a TV fish. You're supposed to hold him up. Oh yeah, you got a bad bat.
That might be a TV fish, but that's how I like him. I got everything he had. I got all the fight out of him. I said, you hear me say, you know, once you be nice and just fall off. That's perfect. When it's slow this time of year, I mean, there's just not enough fish inside. You're going to have a lot more fish on the outside that's moving up out of the channels and moving onto those long points. You're just going to increase your chances by fishing outside stuff than fishing stuff back in.
Gary, as you said in the introduction to the show, it's really your first day back on the water from kind of a pretty scary experience. The fact that you were pre-fishing for the FLW tournament and had a little bit of a boat accident. And
a little bit? Yeah,
a lot.
I'd say a little. How about a lot of a boat accident?
Tell them about it. I mean, what?
Well, I was running down the channel and running about 70 miles an hour, and just popped a couple of waves, and I lost it. I mean, the boat bow hooked on me, and it flipped me out of the boat. Flipped me out of the boat at 70 miles an hour, and basically what a boat does when it bow hooks is the bow drops and it just catches and it just spins the boat, just makes an immediate U-turn at 70 miles an hour, and I'm hanging onto the steering wheel. I had no choice. I had no chance. I mean, it jerked me right over. It slammed me, piled me into that corner, broke a bunch of rods and reels and a bunch of ribs and back and everything else, and pitched me out in the river. And luckily, I had this kill switch hooked to me, and that shut my engine down.
But you weren't wearing a life jacket.
I was not wearing a life jacket, and I mean, I want everybody to know that, because it's not very smart. I mean, I've done it my whole life. I mean, I've been fishing since I was a little bitty kid. I've been running boats for 35 years. I've never had a problem. I've never had an issue. I'm a really good, experienced boat driver, and I've always got lax about life jackets. When I went out, that kill switch shut the boat down, and seemed like I was awful deep, but I mean, I swum my way to the surface, and there sat the boat. All I had to do is simply grab it, and I come right up on this back corner, come around to the back, grab the hold of Mr. Evinrude back there, and climb my way back in, and then laid there and just in agony, and realized that, I mean, I was bad hurt. I mean, I was bad. I had a bunch of busted ribs and collapsed vertebrae in my back, and messed my knee up some. This arm I couldn't even raise this arm. I damaged it so bad going out. I thought it was broke, but it wasn't, just all tore up. But I was really, really lucky for the fact that it was such a bad accident, and, that I didn't have a life jacket on, that I survived. And I really think that I could do that 100 times again and never be that lucky. I was just really, really lucky.
Either the boat wouldn't be on top of you, or...
No.
Well, I mean, it was all the things that everyone says. I'm an experienced boat driver. I'm a good swimmer, a lot of the things all of us are guilty of saying, and a lot of anglers are guilty of just jumping in the boat and taking off, excited about fishing, excited about catching them, and they leave these stowed in a compartment.
Yeah, and it's I mean, I'm a very good swimmer. I have no fear of water. I could swim a long ways, and but boy, I tell you what, when you get beat up, you get hurt, and then you're in the water, it's a different deal. And when I was in that water, I mean, your mind works so fast. I mean, I'm trying to swim for the surface. I'm thinking, where's my boat? Where's my boat? Because I know I'm 150 yards offshore, and we got a strong tide. I mean, I know I'm in a really bad situation, and I surfaced, and there was the boat. But if I'd had the life jacket on, the first thing, it would have protected me. A lot of me hitting the side of the boat and stuff. I probably wouldn't have been busted up as bad. And I wouldn't have had to worry about swimming up. I'd have been on the surface, and I wouldn't have had to worry about where the boat went because I'm floating. I could have swam to it.
Right.
I was so lucky. I just want everybody to know that, 35 years of experience, good swimmer, great boat driver, doesn't make any difference. I mean, you really need to wear your life jacket and your kill switches. It can happen to anyone at any time. All the boats will bow hook, every one of them. If you let that bow get down and that bow catches, you're in trouble. So no matter what boat you're driving, no matter how much experience, no matter how good a swimmer you are, you really need a life jacket and a kill switch hooked up every time you're going to run one of these things. Well, gosh, I had built up my first custom rod, in 1983. And it's not that I built it myself, but I just have guys build it the way that I wanted it. And I just kind of went from there. Competitive Edge, I did a bunch of rods with them. It done some rod work with Loomis and just done rods. Rods are just what I'm really particular about, what rods I throw for what baits and what actions, and I really hate really slow action rods. You see that rod's really fast. See, really fast, and it makes it cast really well. When you go to pick it up, you set the hook, it loads really quick, and you get really good hook penetration. It's just, I don't know, I've always messed around with rods. A lot of guys, I mess around with baits too. That's the thing with bass fishermen. Bass fishermen they're never happy with anything. They're always tweaking this, or, they're sanding this color off, putting that color on. My thing has always just been rods. And, we started Dobyn's rods. It started with 52 models. And so many of the rods today, they're just not balanced at all, and I hate them. I hate to feel like I'm trying to pick the end of the rod up to be able to fish it. So I balance them to where they're pretty much light in your hands. And crankbait rods and stuff, I do balance them a little farther forward because you're fishing the rod tip down, like I am with this swim bait rod. But, like jig rods and worm rods and things like that, I want them balanced where they just set in your hand. They're really light. You don't feel like you're trying to lift the tip up. Man, look at that. Enough? You ever see us? There he woke up. I thought he was just going to swim to the boat.
Finally figured it out.
Little spotty.
Little spot.
He ain't going to fall off. He ain't going to be as good as that little largemouth was earlier.
He's hooked pretty good.
Little spot. I tell you, they're fat little suckers right now. They're eating good. Snap my Cinco off. What else do I got tied on here? The tube. That'll be a good one to check for them. Spotted bass, they never live by themselves. You got a bunch of buddies down there somewhere.
A big one?
It's a big one. It's a very heavy fish. It's a big old bass, dude.
Is it?
A big old bass. Come back up here, buddy. I put my jerkbait down, I pick a stinking tube up.
6 pound test.
Catch a big one. Big old spotted bass.
That is a nice spot.
That is a nice spot.
And he's got that tube way down there. What a nice spot.
He liked that tube.
Look how far down he had that tube.
He ate it, dude. Need pliers?
Yeah, I'm gonna need pliers.
Nice, buddy.
Beautiful spot. Almost looks like that fish has had a culling buoy in him one time or another.
Well, if they culled him, they had a good day.
They had a heck of a good day. Long, skinny fish.
I know that fish doesn't have the weight that he should have.
No, he's long, but he's pretty skinny.
Boy, the way he took off, I honestly would have thought he was better than that. Of course, with the light line. A really good pair of sunglasses is a must this time of year. Actually, you should wear them at all times. Costa's got the new 580 lens, and it's absolutely awesome. I mean, you can see down in the water. I usually wear green mirror or the bronze, but it's really important to have a good pair of sunglasses. I mean, fishermen all the time will spend $150 on a rod or $150 on a reel, and then they'll wear a $9.99 pair of sunglasses, and you're defeating your purpose. You need to really block the UV rays, and it really helps you see in the water. I mean, we've caught several fish today that we've seen. Very important part of fishing is good eyewear.
Galaxy Marines True Bass will be right back.
Well, we've kind of made a move up the South Fork. It's getting warm. I mean, it's definitely warm, and the water is warming up, and these fish should start moving up in these pockets. And we've kind of made our move up the South Fork, hoping to find a little dirtier water, which we have. It's got a little more color. There's a lot more boat traffic in the South Fork, so I don't know if the water's stained or it's just from boats running around, but we'll kind of work our way up the South Fork, and we'll kind of play around in some of the pockets and some of the big main points leading out into the river channel.
Thanks, Kent.
You see how he does that? You see how he does that? Now he probably wants me to get it off for him, too.
I'll get him.
Pretty nice black.
Come here, buddy.
I at least got to get an assist.
Inside the mouth, too. I like that, Kent. Find us another one.
Dobyns would have never seen that fish. You know that? That is the kind of bed fish right there. Dobyns doesn't see those.
Well, all I've been doing is Kent's been getting them pretty fired up with that little brighter bait, and
You've been poaching them from me after
he says it's poaching. Heck, I don't think there's nothing poaching. I mean, I can't even see them. I got to feel them bite, but I'm just throwing this little green pumpkin tube down there, this Yamamoto tube, and he's getting them pretty fired up with that brighter bait, and I drop this little green pumpkin tube in there, and they just grab it and run off with it. So I think it's a pretty good program. He's kind of not liking it too much. Come on, fish, fish, fish. Come here, buddy. Come on. Inside the mouth.
Man, you're blowing all that deal about you not being able to catch them on a bed, too. You see that? That didn't take much, did it?
No, fire it up there and let the little guy run up there and eat it. Come here, buddy. Come on.
A lot of largemouth up.
No, it's a spot.
Oh, is it a spot?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Come on, you could fly off. It'd be fine with me. Come here, buddy.
No, he's going to make you bend over and hurt your back.
Make me bend over and hurt my back.
Fish are shallow, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, we've had a pretty good day out here. We've caught some fish. We've had some fun. I started this morning throwing Stacy 90s. I mean, it's actually my go-to jerkbait this time of year, and this little chartreuse shad bait. I started with the Ghost Minnow. I was throwing on a 705 Mod Fast Action Dobyn's cranking rod. It's my favorite Stacy rod. It's just tailor-made for this bait. I'm throwing 10-pound test P-line, and we caught half a dozen fish on the Stacy today. Next bait that caught several fish for us today was the Yamamoto tube. Just 3/16 ounce dart head up in a green pumpkin tube. It caught several. It caught our best fish today. And, you know, Daiwa spinning reel, which is just an awesome little reel. I'm throwing on a 703. It's a 7'3" power. It's really, really extra fast action. Great feel to the rod. You know, one of my better spinning rods. And a rod that I prefer to throw most of the time. I don't really like a really light spinning rod. And the good old Cinco bait, even though I ended up dropping the last 3, I mean, great time of year that we're just now really starting to throw a lot of, you know, a lot of Cincos, wacky style, a little Gamakatsu finesse wide gap hook. You know, I was throwing it today on a 702, a really light action casting rod. Normally I throw it on a 703 or a 733. They're all really fast action. But you know, just for fun today, I threw it on a little bit lighter rod. I got a little Daiwa Steez on there that's pretty friggin' awesome reel. Just a really good extra fast action casting rod. Normally I like a longer rod. I normally throw it on a 7.3, but like I said, I was just playing today. I just wanted to have some fun. And the last rod that I threw some today, it's another one of my little short handle swim bait rods. I just love this rod. And this triple trout, it's a really good bait out here on Folsom and really all over. Had some followers on it today, had some lookers. We just didn't, you know, we didn't hook any of them up. But that bite's going right now. It's time. I mean, you know, good things are going to happen. You keep throwing these baits, especially if you throw them early in the day. We had a pretty good day. We've caught a dozen fish or so today. We went from fishing real fast and covering a lot of water with jerk baits in the morning to actually catching a couple off of bed this afternoon and catching some Cinco fish, just random casting. And it's just, you know, just a fishing day on Folsom. We didn't catch a giant today. We sure seen some big ones, but, you know, there's always tomorrow. We'll be back. We're supposed to go home. Let me catch this one. Come on. Come on. Hey, hey. Oh, boy.
A Cinco fish?
No, a tube. No, I had one steal my Cinco, so I just reached down and picked up my tube and fired it out there on a point. Bonk! Come here. Come here, don't make me bend over so far. Come here. I can't bend over far enough. Good little old tube fish. Boy, these little blacks are pretty in this lake. Thanks, buddy.
Let's go home on that one. Well, it's good to finally get the West's all-time leading money winner, Gary Dobyns, on an episode of True Bass, and glad that everything came out okay with the boat wreck. You're going to heal. You'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. I probably will take a few more weeks off, maybe as much as a month. Just scared of a rough boat ride. But as you can see, I'm still fishing while we're talking here. So I'm ready to get back to fishing.
Roll the credits while Dobyns fishes. Let's go. We're going home.
Well, that was a good bite, man. That's what goes funk.
We'll see you next time on another episode of Galaxy Marines True Bass.